Hey, you blink, I'll cut your eyelids off. Don't you blink.
I got you.
Let's go.
And welcome to another edition here of the Mass Steel Podcast. With, of course, here's truly Charles Project Richie right now. And we are getting ready just hours away from Steelers versus Browns playoff edition here coming up as we are about 4 hours away from kickoff, 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be on Sunday Night Football on NBC for this playoff edition of the Wild Card Round, which will be the finale of the Wild Card weekend. People will also stream it on Peacock TV. And the Steelers and Browns right now meeting up for the third time. Steelers are 3-0 in that regard. And we just saw what happened yesterday in the opening game of the playoffs with the Colts going down to the Buffalo Bills yesterday in that game. Colts losing the heartbreaker in that one. They lost that one 27-24. And regardless if the Steelers are able to handle business tonight, either way it goes, they will be on the road against the Buffalo Bills should they win. So there's no ins or buts around that area. They're going to have to be on the road should they want to keep their Super Bowl march and hopes moving forward. So we'll find out how this continues to shape up right now. But I got to tell you right now, we're talking about, and that's what I was saying, Brooks. So I'm meaning 8:15 Eastern time. So whenever I say 7:15, I'm usually referring to Central time, which is where I'm from. So anyway, right now, a little bit like a nervous energy, as you can imagine right now. Big game here. A lot what's at stake for the Steelers team, as you can imagine here. I mean, when we truly look at it, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the Steelers right now who start off rallying off their first 11 victories of the season, only, I mean, to go, I mean, when you look at it too, I mean, after starting off 11-0, they went 1-4 the rest of the way. But, I mean, looking back at it too, I'm almost starting to look back at too that Colts victory right there. Also the same day when the Browns lost to the Jets. I mean, that day, you almost kind of got the sense, I mean, was that going to be one of the Steelers' last shining moments of the season right there, how they're going to allow things to go down, because this was a team right now who's definitely soul searching a lot. I mean, a lot of people will look back at the turning points of the season. I mean, people would even look back throughout the year when you started having some noticeable games where they almost lost to the Titans and Tennessee Titans, which, by the way, speaking of which, had some karma return back to them, I'm sure, which they do not like. They just lost to the hands of the Baltimore Ravens right there, 20-13. That goes down there in Tennessee. And so right now, the Ravens right now, they will either be traveling to Kansas City, or they could still possibly be on the road in Buffalo. And the reason why I say that, should the Browns knock off the Steelers tonight, the Browns would be guaranteed to go to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, while the Ravens would travel to take on the Buffalo Bills. But right now, like I said, again, the key thing is, should the Steelers win tonight, they will definitely be guaranteed to go to Buffalo should they handle business right there. Lamar Jackson, he just got his very first playoff victory. He has been 0-6 when trailing by 10 points or more going into this game. Right now, that's all out the window right now. He is now a career lifetime, including the postseason, 1-6 all time when coming back from 10-point deficits. You also see the Titans right there in the second half. I mean, since then, they outscore the Titans 10-3 in the second half, but more realistically, 20-3 the rest of the way. They started making their points being scored in the second quarter of that game right there. And you just saw right there at the conclusion of this game, I mean, right before, who made a great pick. And Marcus Peters, he made the interception at the Baltimore 4-yard line. You just saw the bench players from Baltimore is actually come up real quickly, return the favor to the Titans and stomped on their logo right there. Like I said, Titans right there at the end of the day, really disappointed to see their season end a little bit earlier, because a lot of people were always talking about, like, if the Steelers were going to make a run, they're going to have to go past the Chiefs, which almost seems like an inevitability right now here at this point in time, which I can definitely see. I mean, if they're able to continue to snap out of this funk that they're in, I mean, the last month, I mean, basically, when you look at the losing streak, everything that has been set up for this team, you got, I mean, quite possibly right now, I mean, looking at this game right now, I mean, you're possibly might see the end of an era in probably in Big Ben Roethlisberger. We have no idea if he's going to want to come back after next season. I mean, or what the conversation is going to be like. I'm sure, I mean, guys like Mike Tomlin, Colbert are going to be open to having them around, but still, when you got to look at like next year too, when you take a look at everything in the realistic
2nd and 5.
I mean, coming
Tannehill steps and fires, and it's intercepted. It's Marcus Peters who makes the play for the Ravens. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, fluttered, and it's Peters who makes the big defensive play for the Ravens.
No Freeman come down the field here. But what he does is he falls down, and he's not even looking for the football. You see the switch release. Ryan's trying to get him, and he falls down. They were trying to set this up. I was watching this unfold right in front of us right here, but they don't have one of their biggest, strongest, fastest receivers out there to take advantage.
They're on the same page. Look at Cleve Raymond looking back for the football.
To like soften the blow on that cap hit.
15-yard penalty
that's
from
just
the end
the
of the
biggest
play.
thing right here.
Baltimore
I mean, you
keeps the
look
ball.
at everything right now that's coming up.
And at the end of that, it was the
As
Ravens
crazy as it
stomping
may
all
sound,
over
a
the
guy who's
Titans
arguably
logo.
in the race for MVP at some point. At one point, I mean, having the best career numbers of his career.
It's red, white, and green.
With the Steelers in his whole NFL career. I mean, look at Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, this year. I mean, still at the end of the day, the guy has had 33 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. I mean, which
it's destroying the Amazon.
I mean, and when you really look at it too, I mean, last best touchdown to interception ratio he's ever had in his career. I mean, when you take a look at it, was back in 2014, where he had 32 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. I mean, 32 touchdowns in that year. He matched his previous record.
Running behind Ricard. It's Dobbins right into the end zone for the touchdown. Baltimore.
So, Ben Roethlisberger right now, he's got the second most touchdown pass.
He's leading up in the hole. But Greg Roman was dialed in on that drive.
He was total when they missed the playoffs 2 years ago, and where they finished the season 9-6-1. Thanks a large part to starting off the season, which, by the way, I mean, funny thing we're talking about. I mean, you look at this Browns team, what they're able to do. I mean, yeah, you're not going to have any Kevin Stefanski right there. Going to be without a few guys right here. I mean, when you look at it, and it's definitely no questions about it though. But I will say this right now. I mean, this is right now a time where they had to get down to serious business right now, and you cannot be messing around with this time. You got to make sure you're being locked in. Because I really feel like right now, just watching last week's game versus Browns, I saw a lot of encouragement. I mean, with the pass rush, I mean, which is always going to be a given right there when you take a look at everything. But, I mean, when you also look at it, too, I mean, aside from that, you got quite a few guys who, for the Browns, are going to be questionable going to tonight's game for this contest. Right now, you got tackle Jack Conklin, defensive back Conklin, who's dealing with a knee and illness. Myles Garrett, he's battling a shoulder injury. I would expect him to play tonight, who's questionable with a shoulder. The other guys are questionable as Donovan Peoples-Jones with a concussion, Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle, and MJ Stewart, cornerback, with a calf. Sheldon Richardson is battling a neck injury. And then, of course, you got Wyatt Teller with an ankle, and then Terrence Mitchell, non-injury related, for that game. So, I mean, that's definitely going to be a lot of things right there. I mean, when we look at it. I mean, and you look at a Browns team who's going to be trying to do something they haven't done in a long time. They're trying to not only get their first playoff win since 1994, which is the last time the Browns ever had a playoff victory. And that was, I want to say that one was on the road. Let's take a look at it real quick when we get a second here. And that was under Bill Belichick, by the way, believe it or not, back in that 1994 season. And that year, they were able to win a game at home, and that was against the New England Patriots. You know how that turned out later on. Because remember, Bill Belichick later went on to coach the Patriots. He was coaching against his former mentor right there, and Bill Parcells right there. So that was their last playoff game playoff victory was 1994 on January 1st of 1995, defeating the New England Patriots 20-13. I mean, and ever since then, I mean, the Browns, for that time, they've been 0-2 since that point. I mean, it was also a team who has not, won the division since 1989. I mean, when you look at everything, so they've been totally shut out, like in that regard, not winning the division all that time, but still, I mean, here we are right now. And then not only that, in Heinz Field, trying to get their very first victory in Heinz Field since 2003 when they beat them in the regular season, which was on a Sunday night game. I mean, when we look at it, and that contest right there, where they lost the Browns in that contest. Let's see. So that was back in 2003, and the date for that game was October 5th, 2003, where they lost 13-33. And the quarterback you had in that game for the Pittsburgh Steelers going in that contest was Tommy Max, who won 11-24 for 136 yards. Did not have any help from the running game whatsoever right there. Just blanked down that contest. You saw Tim Couch beat them right there. I mean, but thanks in large part to a huge running game, William Green, who had 33 rushing attempts for 115 yards. And in that contest, too, Tommy Max, he would get sacked 3 times. So 3 total sacks for the Browns in that game. So that was one right there. But, I mean, ever since then, I mean, it tells a story. I mean, what the Steelers have been able to do to this Browns team for a long time right here. When you really, truly look at things from a perspective, I mean, from all the stuff that you had to go through as an organization playing this team, they've won 17 straight victories since 2004. I mean, all the wins that have been won at Heinz Field. So 17 straight victories. And Steelers are looking to keep that going right now. But, I mean, this is a team right now who is still soul searching right now, trying to find their identity. I mean, still prove that they have that they're not willing to go roll over and play dead for anyone just yet. They still want to prove that they're still the team that could be a not one and done team. We'll find that out a little bit later on. But, I mean, also, too, you also got some interesting stuff around this, too. I mean, like, congratulations, by the way, are in order to Mika Fitzpatrick and TJ Watt. Each gained first team, all team pro honors, according to the Associated Press. Cam Hayward got a second team all pro vote, so he makes it on there. I mean, going into this game, so which was a big congratulations right there, which was announced, I think, on January 7th. I want to say that was on Thursday when we look at it. And we'll take a look at it right now. And for guys, I mean, like TJ Watt, he made as an edge rusher. Then you had Mika Fitzpatrick. He got in there as a safety. And then Cam Hayward made as an interior lineman for the second team. Well, there you have it. Congratulations to those gentlemen right there. Still got a lot to play for right now. And not only that, too, I mean, TJ Watt, is he going to be able to hang on and be the clear-cut defense player of the year winner finally in his career? I mean, that's another thing right now. Biggest thing, too, I mean, you look at a guy like Aaron Donald right there, I mean, for the Los Angeles Rams, who's won the award 2 previous times here in his career. I mean, with the Rams, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, for what this guy has been able to do overall, I mean, he's won it in back-to-back years in 2017, 2018, Defensive Player of the Year award right now, trying to make it 3 times. And if he does make it 3 times, I mean, for that award going into it for the NFL, which has been handed out since back in 1971, when you look at it, there's only been like a few guys who've been able to win it like 3 times. And you got guys like J.J. Watt, Lawrence Taylor, who's been the only guys in the history of this award has won it 3 times. So Aaron Donald will be looking to join company in that. But then again, you got a guy like T.J. Watt right now, who's looking to make it in there for the first time. He'll be the seventh player all time to win this prestigious honor. Should they be able to get this taken care of right now? And you look at a guy like T.J. Watt and Aaron Donald right now. I mean, you got T.J. Watt. He leads the league first in 23 tackles for loss. His team overall is third in tackles for loss with 4,000. I mean, his team is ranked number one in tackles for loss at 103. And you also got Aaron Donald, who ranks ninth in that list at 14 tackles for loss. And his team has 66 tackles for loss, which is 15th in the league. And then we also go into like sacks right now. Sacks, T.J. Watt leads the league in sacks with 15 sacks. And his team also is ranked first in the pass rush at 56. And then you also got right behind them, Aaron Donald's team has 53 total sacks, which is ranked second right behind the Steelers. Aaron Donald's got 13 and a half sacks on the year. And then you look at quarterback hits, which T.J. Watt also leads in that category at 41 quarterback hits. And then his team has 136 quarterback hits, which is first in the league, while Aaron Donald has 26 quarterback hits, 101, eighth for his team. So, I mean, you look at it right there, too. Then the only other thing that T.J. Watt is not on the list is forced fumbles. Aaron Donald is 10th in forced fumbles right now with 4 total for the year, and his team has recovered 8th, which is ranked 15th in the league. And I got to say, those things right there are stuff to not totally dismiss right there. I mean, I really feel like right now it should be T.J. Watt, but then I'm also starting to feel like right now, too, that if T.J. Watt is going to earn this award, he's going to have to take it from Aaron Donald, the way I look at it. That's what I feel. I really do feel like right now, I mean, you got the makings, the recipes. I mean, a lot of his coaches and Mike Tomlin, of course, is going to bat for this guy. But, I mean, this is a lot of stuff right now. I think he has to continue to prove it. I mean, during the playoffs, it is a regular season award, but as you keep the playoffs going, as you perform, I think it's going to reinforce the voters of the AP association right now. I mean, why he should still be the guy. And we won't find that out until February 6th, which will be on the NFL awards ceremony, which will be on CBS the day before the Super Bowl. So, like I said, we'll see how this translates into. But right now, I gotta ask you guys right now, how are you guys feeling right now going into this game? What's your pulse on a scale of 1 to 10? Thinking the Steelers will be able to take care of business versus the Browns and advance and not be eliminated right away? Because I tell you, this is a lot rolling here. And I know there's been a lot of speculation right now as far as the salary cap right now. Having the Steelers right now go into next year be about over $21.7 million in the cap hole. But like I said, that's a projection, more particularly to overthecap.com. So hopefully that does not hold up. I mean, just like a weather forecast. But like I said, I mean, these are some things right now, and we got a lot of questionable guys on that team right now who they have to consider possibly doing away with right now. And when you look at the overall roster on here, I mean, who are some guys that you'd be willing to move on from? I mean, when you think about it, I mean, there's been one guy who's in question right now, Joe Hayden. He's got one more deal left on his contract. He's gonna have over a $15.5 million cap hit. Do the Steelers make the gutsy move and decide to go younger and go with a guy like a Cam Sutton right now? Do they take their chances on him? I mean, do you do away with guys aside from that, I mean, do you look at a guy like Vance McDowell? Is his time up with the Steelers right now? I mean, he's got one more year left on his deal. He's going to be due about $7.9 million on the cap number right there. I mean, if they're able to release him prior to June 1st, it'll be over a $5.2 million cap saving. But I mean, we still got months away to get to that. But the biggest fish in that is to be Ben Roethlisberger at 41. $250,000 though. At the end of the day, that is going to be a big one right there. I mean, you cannot forget about right there. So I definitely feel like for that, you have to be a lot more careful with him and see. Because that's going to be a real interesting conversation at the end of the day, what they do in that regard for that one. So let's find out right now. Give me your thoughts. I'd like to hear your feedback right now as we're counting down to Steelers versus Browns playoffs right now. And also watching the playoffs, I also did like a little poll. And right now I was asking earlier this morning, which I tweeted up on Twitter this morning. Got some good feedback on right now. And I asked so far the Saturday games, which win in the first round of the wild card impressed you the most? And so far, 75% of you have elected the Rams over the Seahawks, which I will definitely agree with. I feel like the Rams right now are dangerous out for anybody. Their predicament right now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeating the Washington football team. Should the Bears win, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will host the LA Rams. So a wildcard team will be able to get a home team because they're ranked ahead of the Rams. The Bucs are the number 5th seed, and the Rams are number 6. But if the New Orleans Saints win, the Rams have to travel to take on Green Bay and the Packers right there. So that's the biggest dilemma right there. I think for the Rams personally, if they're going to have a legitimate shot, they better hope that the Bears are able to take care of the Saints. And if they're able to do that, I think they're definitely in good shape right there, I feel. And those are going to be some of the key things right there going into this. But again, if you guys want to follow me on social media, you can definitely follow me on Twitter and Instagram at PrideRichie. For the Men of Steel podcast on Twitter is at Men of Steel CGR and at Men of Steel Nation on Instagram right now. So right now, as you have it, once again, if the Steelers win, they will go Buffalo. And then you would have, for the other divisional round game, you would have the Bills host the Ravens. If the Browns are able to win, the Browns will travel to Kansas City. And then you would have the Ravens go take on the Buffalo Bills. So either way right now, I mean, you're looking at – no, excuse me. If the Steelers defeat the Browns, they will go to Buffalo, take on the Bills, and then the Ravens would travel to take on the Chiefs. If the Browns win, the Browns go to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, and then the Ravens will go travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. That's where we have it. Say for the divisional rounds. Feel free to pitch me, leave me some of your questions while we're going on right now. Ray Fittipaldo was reporting yesterday that tackle Matt Filer and linebacker Robert Spillane, they are expected to play in the wild card round after being activated from IR on Saturday. So hopefully that'll be some good news right there. I mean, Robert Spillane, I think, has been like a big miss right now, a big key piece right now whose loss has definitely been felt. I mean, for this time, and when we look at it, I mean, Robert Spillane. I mean, the last time we seen Spillane, pretty much. His snaps this year was ironically during the start of the losing streak was against the Washington football team, where the Steelers did eventually go on to lose that game 17-23. And that's the biggest thing right there, because Spillane, who was definitely on the injured reserve, I mean, for quite a few weeks. And like I said, you had guys like who were eligible to come back after like about 3 weeks is usually the eligibility return time. But we'll find that out. We'll find it out in due time right now. Right now, we already got a game is getting ready to get underway in less than 3 minutes right now. We got the New Orleans Saints hosting the Chicago Bears right now. So the New Orleans Saints right now, they are looking to win this game. Should the New Orleans Saints hang on and win this game, like I said, you have the Rams going on to take on the Packers. And then the New Orleans Saints right now will be hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So if the Bears win, it's the third time the Saints would have to try and face Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can they beat them 3 straight times? I don't know. I think that's going to be a little bit more of a difficult task But right now, as far as Chris Boswell, Brooks, I haven't heard any word yet. I'm trying to find the inactives right now. All I do know is that for today's contest, going into it as of Friday for the playoff game, Chris Boswell, he was limited in practice. Still up in the air right now about what his status is going to be. So we'll find out as we look a little bit closer here for this contest. So I'll definitely tweet it out if you don't hear it on the show, and try and leave it on my Facebook page here on the Men's Steel podcast here. But for right now, he might be able to go tonight. We'll see. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I want to have a guy like Matthew Wright come into this game just yet. I mean, like have him count on something that's going to help save the Steelers in this contest here. Because when we look at it too, I mean, Boswell's still a good money quarterback at times. I mean, when you look at it. And I just feel like right now, Boswell, that's still the guy who I would trust a little bit. I mean, say what you will about this guy, who's done it right now. At the same time, who we had before that was Sean Sweezen. So, those are some question marks right there. I don't think I want to go in a time with Three Rivers Stadium where the Steelers would have to be in a position right now. Oh, but speaking of which, by the way, the Steelers right now, should they win tonight, the Steelers will tie the Patriots for the most playoff wins in the history of the playoffs. Right now, they're currently 36-25, while the Patriots are 37-21. If the Steelers win tonight, they'll be 37-25. Right behind the Steelers at number 3 are the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys, who are out of the playoffs. Packers are 35-23, and the Cowboys are 35-28. Packers look to pick up their 36th victory of the season right now. So they're not sure if they'll be hosting the Bears or the Rams coming up. So keep a little bit more posted on that. Also, too, Burt Lawton announced and was reinforcing what was going on. It's been approved by the state of Pennsylvania, where they're not going to be allowing any fans in the wild card round versus the Browns, with the exception of 2,500 people, strictly for family and friends. So just keep that in mind. So if you see a little bit of people in the crowd, remember, it's just family and friends, no fans at this point. Also, too, Adam Schefter of NFL on ESPN, he reported that the Browns have activated tight end Harrison Bryant, safety Ronnie Harrison, and linebacker Malcolm Smith off their reserve and COVID-19 list in time to play Sunday versus Steelers. Dale Lally, DK's Pittsburgh Sports. He also mentions, too, that the Steelers activated Spillane and Filer from IR. They elevated Kevin Radar from the practice squad and waived Tigray Scales. So this is definitely going to be some interesting stuff right now. But like I said, Chris Boswell, limited practice due a groin on his right side. And then you got the Browns guys who are questionable. Their starters are going to be right tackle Jack Conklin, left defensive end Myles Garrett. Conklin was dealing with a knee, Garrett with a shoulder. Left defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson with a neck injury. A right guard Wyatt Teller with an ankle, and then right cornerback Terrence Mitchell with an illness. Right now, and also going into this game, too, another thing to pay attention for. The Steelers who are going into this game, speaking of which, they are 5th in turnover differential right now in going into this contest. Steelers are 5th with a +9 differential, where they created they created 27 takeaways and 18 turnovers, while the Browns, on the other hand, going into this game, their turnover differential for the year for this game right now, they are at +5, where they created 21 takeaways, which ranks 8th in the league, and 16 turnovers, which is 8th overall. So they give them up most. So we're going to get into my keys of the game in just a moment here. And like I said, Should definitely a lot of unknown to follow this game past this, but we'll definitely find out right now. So feel free to leave me your questions. Leave me your thoughts right now. Steelers versus Browns going into this right now. So also too, that Aaron Schefter mentioned the best case scenario in Cleveland was that all Mesa testing done, and only the assistant line coach or prior HRCC is positive per source. Players from yesterday and today tested negative per source. Sunday night versus Steelers is on. So let's go ahead and get right into the keys to the game for this contest right here. Key number one, I'm going to be looking at winning the turnover ratio versus the Browns. Like I said, the Steelers are +9 in that area for the year, which is 5th in the league. And so far, when the Steelers have won the turnover battle this whole season, they're undefeated. They are 9-0. So that's going to be a big key right there. Try and get a guy like Baker Mayfield rattled if you can. I think that's definitely something to watch out for in this contest, because when you also look at it too, I mean, Mayfield is still a little bit of a question mark at times. And when you look at it, I mean, right now he's had 8 interceptions, which ranks 28th. So he does a good job of taking care of the ball. So we'll find out right there. But they do have 16 turnovers, which is 28th. So I'm just looking at right there. Steelers need to win the turnover ratio, because right now the Steelers had 18 turnovers, which is 22nd. So they have given up the ball a little bit more than Cleveland. So winning the turnover ratio would be huge. Key number 2, which leads me into this: don't allow Baker Mayfield to get locked in. 6-3 whenever having 30 or more passing attempts this season. So he's pretty much, I mean, won a lot more of his games. He's won 3 more of his games right there. I mean, when you definitely look at it right there. So definitely something to keep an eye on right there. When you truly look at it, I mean, right there, winning about like 6% of his games here. I mean, so that's definitely going to be an interesting facet right there. And when you look at, I mean, going to this contest here, which would be very interesting here, by the way. So I'm definitely looking at a huge performance right there. Yeah, so winning about 67% of his games. So definitely try and keep the passing attempts to like under 30. I will definitely key on that. Key number 3, Steelers red zone defense. Steelers have allowed opponents to score 25 touchdowns on 45 attempts for about nearly 56%, which is currently 6th in the league, while the Browns have converted 39 of 53 red zone attempts for touchdowns, about nearly 74%. That ranks 3rd in the league. So the Steelers could do a job of keeping them out of like red zone scores. That'll be a big key right there. Key number 4, win the battle at the line of scrimmage. This is a big key. Why do we always say that? Yes, the Steelers right now, I mean, for the most part, I mean, as far as like allowing the fewest sacks, I mean, going into this game right now, I mean, the Steelers have allowed 14 sacks, which is number 1, protecting their quarterback. Problem is the running game, which is dead last. So a lot of people will still continue to argue how much is it so with Ben Roethlisberger getting the quick release on the ball, not holding on to it too long. So definitely stuff to pay attention right there. So if they could win the battle at the line of scrimmage, help open up the run game somehow, those would be some big opportunities right there to see what happens going to this game. Let's go into the final key number 5 for this contest. Steelers must control the drop passes. They have the most in the league with 43, more due to Deontay Johnson and Eric Ebron, who have dropped a combined 20 during the regular season. So that's going to do it for this edition here of the Mass Steel podcast. Keep it right here. Definitely do a post-game show more than likely tomorrow. If not tonight, I'll guys keep you posted if I will do one tonight. But if not, it will definitely be tomorrow afternoon. Win or lose, we'll keep it right here and see where the Steelers go from here, whether they're advancing to the playoffs or what to ponder about their future. Once again, you guys can follow me on social media on Twitter and Instagram at Project Richie. For the Mass Steel podcast on Twitter, it is at Mass Steel CGR, at Mass Steel Nation on Instagram. I leave you. Don't be trolling. Be rolling. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. I gone.